Good afternoon. Welcome to Women in Tech at Display Week 2025. Really excited to be here with this panel of amazing women. To let you know a little bit about myself, my name is Jenny Donelan, and I have been involved with Display Week for about 17 years in different capacities. I used to be the managing editor for ID Magazine, which is SID's flagship magazine, and now I help support the conference in various ways. But it's been really exciting to see Display Week grow over the years, and one of the ways that it has grown is with panels like these, with Women in Tech, which I believe is about 8 years old, something like that. But anyway, I wanted to introduce our really amazing panelists. They are all scientists. They are all inventors. They have between them more than 200 patents. And a really amazing little fact about them is that they've been with the same company since they did their graduate work. So all three of them. So that's a pretty amazing fact in this day and age. So without further ado, I will introduce Serpil Gonen Williams at the far right here. And she is the Chief Technology Officer for Pixelligent. And next to her, thank you. Next to her is Hongmei Zang, and she is the Vice President of the Research Division at E-Ink Corporation. And next to me is Zhou, and she is the Director of Technology Strategy at BOE. So thank you for being here, all of you. I'm really excited to talk to you. I'm going to first let you introduce yourselves at a little more length. So Serpil, can you start out and tell us your background?
Sure, thank you. Again, this is Serpil Gonen Williams. I am the CTO of Pixelligent Technologies. We're a small company in Baltimore, Maryland, developing high refractive index nanomaterials and formulations for display industry, XR market, and sensors. I have more than 20 years of experience developing materials for this industry. As Jenny mentioned, all at Pixelligent Technologies and during my PhD at University of Maryland. My background is in chemistry, but I graduated as a chemistry teacher from college. And then I decided to go to chemistry instead of teaching and did my master's and PhD in chemistry, after which I joined Pixelligent. We were only 3 people when I joined the company, and we have grown to more than 40 people now, and we have our manufacturing facility in Baltimore. And I was, as part of a small company, I wore many different hats over the years, from project management to VP of product development, VP of operations, and more recently, CTO. My team is responsible for developing nanomaterials, so I lead the research and development team. I also lead the government grants team to look at new ideas, and I also lead the IP team, managing our patents and trademarks. And I am very happy to be here.
Thank you. That's pretty impressive. Let's see. Next, Hongmei, can you talk about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Hongmei. I'm from E-Ink, so if you look to your left at the back, that's our E-Ink booth. So at E-Ink, we're developing the technology and also the manufacturing processes for electrophoretic displays. So if you look back like 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, everything you see in the E-Ink booth might be just the black and white displays, e-readers, very popular, Kindle. Now we're just developing all different colors, adding more and more color, and then developed for various applications. Coming back to me, my background is chemistry, like Serpil. I graduated from Bowling Green State University. My major is photochemical sciences. That was 25 years ago. Since then, right after my graduation, I joined a startup company called Cypix. I've been developing the technology for e-paper, electrophoretic displays. And then in 2012, we were acquired by Inc. And then joined forces. So we can research, bring in new materials, new tools into product integration, and be able to develop more and more colorful electrophoretic displays.
Thank you. Thank you. And Lee, can you tell us about your background?
Yeah, I'm Zhou from BOE. We have a booth very nearby, E-Ink. Yes. About my background is physics. Yeah, I'm a PhD on theoretical physics. Yeah. My PhD project is mainly about theoretical neuroscience of vision and elastic theory about a liquid crystal. So very, very theoretical. Then after graduation, maybe at 2011, 14 years ago, I joined the BOE and become an ordinary engineer in BOE. And then learn the display manufacturing and looking for new display technologies such as that. And then now I'm in charge of technology strategy and cooperation. Yeah, sourcing new display technologies and other advanced technologies which lead a new future. Yeah, so that's my responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. You obviously have a lot of staying power, and you're hard workers. I mean, that shines through. I wanted to ask some specific questions about your work background, and my first question is for Hongmei. And you started at Cypix, and you were acquired by E-Ink. And how many years were you at Cypix before that happened? Roughly?
Roughly about 12 years as
12
a startup.
At a startup. So you were
So
there.
long live the startup.
Right. So you were there from the beginning. You were
Right.
there for 12 years, which is quite a long time. And then you had an acquisition. So there's usually a culture change that comes with that, or at least, even if there isn't, you're worried about it. So can you tell me about that, the challenges of being acquired and how you succeeded? Because obviously you have.
So I guess think back. I mean, after the whole experience, I feel like that's really good for me. I mean, it's good for me. It's also good for the team. But at that time, of course, there are a lot of challenges. First, there are the uncertainties, right? What will be the outcome after we're acquired? People have different thoughts on it, have doubts on it. We have people leaving from the, they just left. And also we were a startup, small organization. So when we were acquired by Inc., of course, there's been plan on the transition. But no matter how well it's planned, we still have to drop into a completely different culture, meet different people. And of course, E-Ink is a well-structured company with more functions within. So we have to be able to navigate and learn the different people, meet different people, and be able to incorporate some of the processes. For example, when we develop a product, we start to introduce a stage gate process as a pretty standard process for product development. And then I learned a lot through that process. And also, I feel like meeting people is very critical. I'm pretty introverted, right? So it gave me a lot of anxiety when I was in that kind of position. But meeting people is very critical as we get into a new organization. It's like a new job for me, right? And also be able to invite people coming in to our site and meet with us and start to work together and start to figure out how to leverage each other and what each team cares about. In the end, this is the process we have to go through and be able to, because any kind of product development is a collaborative process, right? We're not working on this by ourselves. So we try to see who to work with and how to work with to be more efficient. So that's the good thing of being in, instead of a startup, in a more well-structured company. So
there were some gains too, like
a lot of
being
gains.
taken on by a bigger
Yes,
company.
I think for the first one and a half year, gradually the anxiety, uncertainty just went away, so I can focus more on technology. When I was in Cypix, 12 years is a long time, and we didn't have much of a revenue, so there's been continuous pressure. How can we develop a product and what process to use for the manufacturing, and how to start to get revenue in. And then we ran out of money and how to get funding in. So, but as we get into E-Ink, which is well-funded, there's a good continuous revenue stream already established. And we can more focus on the technology, develop new product, and then cater to different market, different applications. So the team can be more focused on technology. So I feel like this is really a great experience for me, although in the beginning it's a lot of anxiety. But then through the process, I can kind of decouple the anxiety away from what I need to focus on, and then work with my team also to focus on, because technology is our core, right? So, well, that's my experience, but I feel like, under this acquisition, everybody might have different experience. But no matter what, I feel like with this kind of experience, it builds your skills, your knowledge. It's going to be helpful for your career.
Thank you. Yeah, and it sounds like you replaced you had the uncertainty of the new, but you had the certainty of better funding. So that's always good. Lee, how about you told me at BOE that you were lucky enough to have teachers and mentors who helped you. And one thing that struck me that you said is that they stressed to you the importance of having a big vision in your work. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. My job is to evaluate a lot of new technologies. So my mentor in BOE, they have shared their very valuable insight and about how to assess and select new technologies. Yeah, they said when you evaluate a new technology, not just focus on the detail of the technology, you should have a big vision. For example, you should look back about the whole industry trend, maybe about 100 years ago, and what have happened in the last 100 years, and what will be like in the future about the industry. Yes, when you think from this aspect, then you have a vision about what kind of technology needed in the future. Yeah, so what's the key point that the new technology can, what's the goals of the new technology? Yes, so from this aspect, then you can evaluate the core the core advantage of the technology. Yeah, for example, we know that IoT and AI will drive a significant progress in industry. So when you evaluate a new display technology, you will think about what will be the display like in the future. Maybe it will be more natural, more eco-friendly, more intelligent, or even more integrated. So from this aspect, then you make your technology plan and you select the technologies and make the plans and setting the milestones. Yes. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you. What you said reminded me a little bit of, I've heard that it's always important to have the why of what you're doing, a big why. And if you keep I know in my own work, if you keep your mind on that, sometimes you're not as irritated by something your coworker said, it's normal, but you try to keep that big idea. And
Yes.
why am I here? So
Yes.
that's great. You're lucky to have people that
very
share
lucky.
that kind of vision
Yes,
with
yes.
you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Serpil, I wanted to talk to you about, you mentioned collaboration with others and the importance of, you didn't say this, but humility, like admitting when you don't know something and relying on other people. And I mean, you lead Pixelligent's IP portfolio. That's a pretty big job, pretty impressive. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I think when you have an invention, it doesn't have to be from you, right? It's especially leading a team's IP portfolio. You have to surround yourself with the right people, and you have to rely on your team. You have to rely on the knowledge that they have or the experience they have, and then take that and translate into a patent or any new IP. So I find it that my role is not just to invent, but also be the mentor to people who are inventing, maybe educate them on the patent process and how the inventions are valued, take all those together, and then take that and take it to our IP lawyers and translate all that I learned into what they would use that to file the patents or make sure that it's according to the IP technology, right? So it's definitely related to how good your team is and how closely we work together. When we, let's say, have an office action from any patent office, I bring the team together, inventors together, and say, okay, here is where we are, and this is what we need to do, and then go through the process of how to respond. And, it's not always easy because people want to just focus on the technology, not necessarily the legal part of things, but that needs to be part of the process. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that as you get promoted and you get more and more responsibilities, the work that you started out doing, the reason why you were hired, you don't get to do as much of that work, right? Or
That's very true. Yes.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
one of you, I'm sorry, I don't know who it was. It might have been you, Hongmei. So you like to get your hands dirty, or you like to get your hands in the lab.
In the lab, yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my passion. That's why I choose chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes when you have a lot of responsibilities, you're dealing with people and teams and that kind of thing too. So I hope you still can get your hands in the lab sometimes.
I do.
You do? Okay. Well, that brings me to something that really fascinates me, and that's the idea of inventing. As I said, our three panelists have quite a number of patents among them, and as somebody who is a journalist and just writes, the idea of creating something in a lab is fascinating to me, and I'm pretty much in awe. So I was hoping that each of you could tell me about that process, how, when you're working at a company or anywhere in chemistry, how do you invent something? Do you decide what you're going for, or do you play around and make a discovery? So do you mind going first? Lee, can you talk about that?
Yeah, actually, my job is technology strategy, so I want to tell a story about strategy consistency. Yes, maybe not a real project or not a real project or something. Yeah, when I first started working, it was about 14 years ago. Yes, I conduct a technology analysis about quantum dots. Yeah, at that time, quantum dots were far from mature, but we found that it has very big potential to be a display material. So at that time, I applied a patent about use the quantum dots as the color conversion layer. Yes, and which was later granted. Yes, but the material is not not mature. So maybe several years later, our supplier developed a film use quantum dot materials, and we combine the film with LCD. Yeah, you apply it in the backlights of LCD. Yeah, about 9 years ago. Yes, we still found that electroluminant quantum dots is quite shows big potential to be used as the emitting layer. So they emit light directly. So we conduct research about the quantum dot emitting display quite earlier. So of course the material for electroluminant quantum dots is still immature at that time. So the team conducted the research span from material, devices, and the process. Yes, well, and at that time we found some unexpected maybe outcomes. So we found that different layers, thickness of layers, also the concentration of the quantum dots, concentration of quantum dots, are highly related to the efficiency of the devices. So several patents have been applied and lately be granted. So I want to tell you this story is about the strategy persistence. The whole journey of this quantum strategy is full of unexpected technology achievement as well as I think diligent persistence. That's the story I want to share with you. Thank you.
Okay. So there were some expected goals, and you worked hard towards them, but then you also had some surprises.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's good. I appreciate that story.
Yeah, thank you.
What about you, Hongmei? What's your journey with invention?
They come in different forms, pretty similar to what Lee have described. Because I guess for any technology, there's always a holy grail, right? You want to be all the performance to be ideal, and we're always chasing towards that holy grail. And you have some thoughts of how to get there, right? And then you start to do something in the lab, use some new materials, new process, sometimes relies on new equipment. But sometimes you start to try something in the lab. This is just one example. So we try to improve the reliability of a product. So we thought, well, purify it should be the best way to do it, right? So we started a new filtration process with a media, and we get it into a product design, and then test the reliability. It is better. So, but then we went back to analyze, what we removed. Or sometimes you think you remove something, but with the process, you also introduced something, right? Nothing is very pure. And maybe there's some other changes you were not expecting, but it just happened. And that contributed to the final performance. As it turned out, as I filtered the material, I also changed the composition within. Because each material have different interaction with the filter. Eventually, I changed the composition. That actually is the change that improved the reliability. But that's a learning process, because through this, hey, I used to work within this narrow composition space. Now I can really make it wide. I can intentionally search for the better composition in a wider range of the design space. So that's an accidental finding, but it helps us to go down the road to see what could be better. So, but a lot of times we do a lot of brainstormings within the team, and we build on each other's ideas. I fully agree with what Serpil has said, right? It's not individual. I'm an inventor. I'm more of a co-inventor. So, and working within the group setting, and we build on each other's ideas, especially right now, a lot of the technology and then the product design is pretty complex, right? We have material scientists, we have chemical engineers, we have double E's, we have, other disciplines as well. And then now new things coming in, like AI and other tools. So we kept incorporating into the team, and then figure out what's the best and the efficient way to do things. And the invention is not just for patent. It could be know-how. It could be just fundamental understanding that can help us to find the better approach, the next round of the new tools, right? So that's my learning.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's great. It is interesting sometimes when you're, I don't know, when you're trying to adjust for something, you end up, as you said, changing. You can't. It's hard to keep your parameters the same, I imagine. And when you end up trying to isolate something, you get something new. It sounds like. So that's great. Serpil, so you have really an overview with your job. Can you talk about the process at your company?
Sure, yeah. Invention can come from many parts. It can come from the process. It can come from new materials. Usually for a small company, we have targets. We want to achieve certain product requirements. And we start with that goal and put different things together. Manufacturing of nanomaterials is not novel, right? Nanomaterials has been made for decades. But making nanomaterials that meet 10 different criteria is novel. How to make that? That's the part we work with our teams, our formulation team, synthesis team, to put together. As you mentioned, you need to get a lot of input from others. It's not just one person, one invention, one process. You can make the nanomaterials that are the highest transparency, highest refractive index, narrowest particle size, and combine all these into a formulated product that can be used in a display. You have to combine all of these together, and that's when you get to an invention. And sometimes you have the goal, you know what to do and how to get there, and sometimes you put two parts together and you have something new that's not intended, and that could be an invention. So, as Hongmei mentioned, invention is not just patents. Some of these we choose to keep as trade secrets, especially processes. We want to keep it as trade secrets because not everything can be patented. Some of these could be know-how. It's just written in our SOPs. You want to make sure that you do it the best way. And some of these we put in patents. Yeah, that all process is decision of what to do with what's new.
Is it harder to patent a process than a material?
It is harder. You have to be very specific a lot of the times, and when you have something very specific, it's easy to get around it.
That
So
makes sense.
it's better
Yeah.
not to patent and maybe keep it as
Keep
a
it a
trade
trade secret?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Because we are women in tech here, I wanted to give each of our panelists a chance to talk about their views of women in tech right now. And maybe, like, Hongmei, how do you feel that your industry is for women right now, like young women entering the industry?
Well, at least what I see in our organization, we have a lot of young women entering the industry, inventors, be the inventors, and also product designers. So it's a blessing to work with them. So they bring in freshness into the team and organization. And then the other side is, do we provide opportunities, right? Encourage this. I mean, science and technology, I don't feel like there's a gender preference. I think our passion lies in, okay, do I like chemistry? Do I like engineering, right? And then when you get into it, women is as capable. So, well, that's what I see.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you. Serpil, how about you? I mean, do you think our industry still needs to attract women, to reach out to women and students?
Yes. I do see increase in women in technology. For example, when we interview, there's more women applying for similar jobs. But we're definitely not there. As an example, I was named one of Photonics 100 this year by Electro-Optics, and there's only 20 women out of 100 in photonics and optics that were honored. So that number is still very low. That needs to improve. There is no one way to decide how this could happen, but one thing is maybe going to high schools, talking to young girls, talking about technology. What I see from my kids is that girls feel like technical field is too difficult. Physics is difficult. Chemistry is difficult. We also said that ourselves earlier. They need the encouragement to say, everything is difficult when you don't know. Nobody is born knowing everything, but you can be trained, you can be taught, and it's not as difficult as you think. So we need to get out of that stereotype and say, you can do it. That's definitely something we need to encourage our future female technical scientists.
Yeah, I think that's true. I remember as a parent of young children, we all thought that our kids would be athletes, ballerinas, actors, because that's what you see young children doing. You know, you don't see a young child being an accountant or something. But I guess my point is that when people see other people sort of like them pursuing things like science and chemistry, it's just a great example. You know, I could do that, or you don't even have to think that it might be unusual for you to do it. You just take it for granted.
Yeah, and as a scientist, I try to do that with my kids and their friends, but we need to go beyond that, and maybe going to schools is one way of doing that.
Have you done that at all? Done outreach?
I have done very small part, but also my husband has done more of those.
Is he a scientist too?
He's a scientist too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lee, what is your role? I mean, what is your view of the role of women right now? Are there quite a few in your sorts of science roles at BOE?
I think there are much more than a few years ago because we have a lot of interviews. Yeah, they are very smart. Yeah, female interviewers, and they are very smart, and they have very high education degrees, such as master degree and PhD degrees, and they are really, really smart and genius. Yes, so they have passion about to do research in viewing, about that. So I think that will be much more than before to join the display industry, especially in China. Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's good. It does seem encouraging. I remember when I moderated this panel maybe 7 or 8 years ago, remarking that there were more women at Display Week than when I started, because 17 years ago when I came to Display Week, there were relatively few. I mean, I think I made a joke about how when I went into the bathroom, there was never anyone else in the bathroom. and now there's usually other people there. So it's great. It's great to see.
Yes.
So, well, thank you. I think we have time for me to ask each of you something about a mistake you might have made, or maybe a mistake that happened to you, and how you dealt with it and learned from it at least, or made it work. And so maybe we'll start with you, Serpil.
Sure. I guess for me, it's not necessarily the mistake I made, but leading an R&D team, we realized that not every R&D research project turns into a product. And for a small company, we're very product focused. We have to get to a product as soon as possible, meet customer targets. I think realization of not everything will convert to product, and sometimes knowing when to stop is very important. As scientists, we always have a new solution. We can do one more step, one more test. We can go talk to someone who can help us and then continue to work. But that sometimes is not getting you closer to a product, and you need to say no and move on. Yeah.
Thank you. I know we were chatting about this beforehand, and I think Hongmei, you said that it's possible to fall too in love with some of your research and not want to let it go when you should.
Emotionally attached to your own approach, and also would not be able to see other possibilities, and always have the hope that we could work it out, it could be better, and then not look for other opportunities. So I totally agree. It's a pretty hard decision, and it's very necessary also, whether it's in research or product design. Yeah. So.
And Lee, what about some kind of mishap or mistake that you've had to face? Have you overcome?
Yeah, I have conducted a project, yes, and the cooperator, yes, they don't have enough resources to reach the target of the project, yes, and at that time we evaluate the we evaluate their ability, whether they can achieve the goal or not. At the beginning, we think they can, but during the process, we realize that they can't do that. Yeah, so the choice will be, stop it, or you continue in a wrong way. So that's really hard. But the corporate, we are very close. Yes, we know each other. So it's hard to make a choice. So also we have other project not on this topic. So at that time we think, we can we take a few weeks during this time, if you achieve the goal, then we continue. But if you fail to achieve the target, then we stop. Yes, so that's very hard to make the choice, but finally they failed. So we have to stop the project, yes. And we have to make up the loss of the time as well as the resources. Yes, and then we start another project and speed up, the process and achieve the goal. Yes, so that's what happened.
So what did you? Oh, excuse me. What did you learn from that then? What might you do differently next time?
I think at the beginning, before you start the project, so the evaluation is very important. Whether they can finish this project. Yes. Thoroughly research. Yes.
Thank you. Hongmei, you were going to ask a question.
Yeah, it's more of, there's a fundamental mindset, right? Because we're all doing research, and means you gotta try something new. You're gonna fail, right? You won't be 100% successful. That's the essence of research. So, as long that as a foundation, then I think it's easier to make decisions, hard decision to stop. But even that is, even the failures, those experience, maybe you didn't reach the end goal, but you develop a new skill. You develop something that's partial, right? May not get to the final goal, but you can park it there. It could be something you can use down the road, incorporate it with something else, and make another thing that's successful. So we can all learn from that. I think research is not, okay, I just go through this path, I'll get to the goal. I feel like it's never like that, right? It's always things add on, new tools add in, but you have to continuously try new things, build on it. It's like in the finance, it's a compounding rate, right? So it's the compounding effort that over time will get you push towards the ultimate goal you're aiming for. Yeah.
Thank you. That's really good. I think about maybe even when you're pursuing a hobby as well as work, if you like something well enough, you're willing to fail at it. You're not just worried about doing it perfectly and having other people look at you fail. You just want to push ahead. So it sounds like you've had a lot of successful failure in your career. Thank you. I think we have a little time. I just wanted to ask each of you what piece of advice you might have received in your career, or maybe something that you've read even that has spoke to you. And I'll share. It sounds kind of silly, but when I was in high school, I was a waitress at a restaurant, and it was my first job. And I thought I was doing a pretty good job, but it turns out I wasn't. And a manager called me in and told me that I would be fired if I didn't improve. And I didn't really even ever want that job, but when I heard I might be fired, I wanted it. I didn't want to be fired. And he told me, you've got to get a system. Your checks and your money are falling out of your pockets. You don't know what you're doing. I don't care what your system is, but have a system. And then he also told me that I needed to get all the information, like maybe no one had ever trained me and told me how to do the job properly, which actually was the case. And third and most important, he said, everyone who's complained about you, and there were a lot of customers that had complained about me, said you were nice. And because you were nice, you're not being fired. So those are three pieces of advice that have actually carried through for me to jobs, well beyond being a waitress. So Anyway, I was just curious if you folks had similar, things people had said to you or things you've read that resonated with you and that have helped you through the years. So, do you want to start, Lee?
Your experience is very, very inspiring. Yeah, I have the similar experience with you. Yeah, when I first started working, my boss assigned a task to me, and you should finish it on time. Yeah, actually, for me as a doctor, you know, we need to know all the details of the technology or the things, then we can analyze it and then finish it. So, but this task, they asked me finish this task in 1 week. Yeah, maybe half a week have passed. Well, most of have passed. I haven't finished it, or even started. Yes. So, maybe. So he told me that you should distinguish maybe the tasks. Some tasks you need a company. Yeah, you need to thoroughly research on this topic. But some tasks you just finish it on time. Yeah, on time is much better than perfect. Yes. So that's what I know, the similar experience.
That is a really good piece of advice. Yeah.
Yes.
Because perfection leads to procrastinating sometimes.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. What about you, Hongmei?
Very good question. I don't have something that's very clear, but then I always resonate to like opportunity favors the prepared person. But I'm not a prepared person. I'm more like, here's the opportunity, right? Grab it and try it. I think for women especially, if there's a position there and there's a woman, there's a man, if they are at the same skill on the knowledge level, the man would think, okay, yeah, I can do that, right? The woman might be more self-conscious, say, I might not be able to, I should not apply for that job, right? So that's the first step. And if there's an opportunity, or if the opportunity land upon you, try it. I mean, because no matter what, it's going to be a good experience. It's going to build your skill. It's going to build, you're going to learn a lot more, right, than what your current position, your current capacity. So I think that's the most important for me.
To just go for it and don't hold back and don't think that maybe you're not up to the challenge.
Yeah, because even say, well, you try it, you don't like it, you can still just walk away, right? Yeah.
True.
There's nothing to lose.
Good advice. Okay, Serpil. What's your advice?
I also have a story, I guess. When I graduated from college and decided to go to chemistry, I started my master's degree, and I also was a TA, teaching assistant, and I was assigned a senior class to teach. Just graduated college and then teaching senior class. Usually that's given to PhD students, and a new teaching assistant would get chemistry 101, just freshman chemistry. And I was really worried. I went to my mentor and supervisor, and I said, why me? Everybody's getting easy class and I am getting a senior class to teach. And he told me, because we believe you can, and we believe that you can do a good job. So you need to also believe that you can do a good job, and you need to go for it. I think it's very similar. It's just you need to trust yourself. If others can see this in you, why can't you see this in you? And I use that in my career over and over again. To go to the next level, you always need to think about here's a challenge. This is put in front of me because I can, or I need to take this next step. I think that was a big learning for me beyond college.
Thank you. Thank you. That's good. This is all great stuff. I appreciate it. Thanks. We have a few more minutes. If anyone from the audience would like to ask our panelists questions, that would be great. We have the microphone over there, right? If you have a question for any of our panelists, please walk over to the microphone and ask away. Here we have one.
Hi there. Thank you very much for the wonderful discussion. So, as someone who has, over the last few years, hired a number of people to my research group, and to the comment about women not always sort of jumping to try, as I looked through the applications that I would have for any given role, I would find that there would be a number of men who sort of didn't necessarily meet the qualifications for the job, but just sort of threw in their application anyways. And there were a lot fewer women of that type. You know, there were women applicants, but they were ones who were very precisely qualified for the role. And so, as someone who's hiring, how do I sort of help create a culture that will allow women to jump at those roles more easily? I know that that's hard from my end, but you know, that's the power I have right now. So what can I do to be more supportive in that way and get people to jump to apply for roles that they might be on the fence about?
Does anyone want to take that question on? Like, how do we, as a hiring manager, how does he get women to be a little bit more thinking outside of the box? I think when they're applying. Lee, do you have an idea?
Yeah. Actually, I'm the kind of women you talked about, but my responsibility, pushed me to out of box because I'm an introverted person, but I have to plan and host the meetings, so I have to plan the meeting and think about the questions ahead and prepared for it well. So I read a lot of books, and one book I think is very, very valuable. It's called Lean In by the former COO of Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg. Yes. So the book tells us that the women, you should lean in and be courageous, balance work and life, and keep or maintain an open mind side. Yes. So that's my suggestion. From the book, also for you to, for your women manager in your team. Thank you.
And thank you. And the book was Leap In. Is that right?
Lean In.
Lean In. Oh, I know
Yes,
Lean
yes.
In. I'm sorry.
Lean In.
Yes, that's a great book.
Yes.
Thank you.
I feel like if it's within the organization, right, if you have a candidate and a women candidate and you don't feel like she's confident enough or want to step into that new role, you can start with a small project or small responsibilities. I think a lot of introverts, women or men, more women maybe, we build confidence through this is small project. We feel comfortable in the role, at least a part of the new role, right? Then it's probably easier for the women to get into that new role and the new responsibilities.
Thank you.
I guess I can second that as well. And maybe putting the job description more attractive for women. There may be other things like we talked about, vacation days and things like that, just to encourage whatever is stopping them from applying for that position. Job description can be designed for that, maybe.
That's a good point, because if you write the job description with your ideal candidate in mind, that means you put a lot of requirement, right? Then more likely you'll have less women apply. So maybe you start from putting the must-have qualifications requirement. See what happens.
That's really good advice. Thank you. Thank you all. We have another question here.
Yes. So people always argue like why this is questions only for women, not for men. But I feel like as a woman, this is a real situation I'm facing in the real world. So as a mother, daughter, and a wife in the family, for society will usually be assigned more work and more duty to taking care of the family. So as a very successful career path, how can we balance this two?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
I was going to say, if there was one answer to that, that would be really good, but there isn't. I think you need to find the right people to help you. If you are not able to, you need to rely on your family, friends, or you need to hire the help you need. Otherwise, it's very difficult to manage all of them at the same time. It's a balance. Years later, you look back and did I spend enough time with my kids, or should I have gone to another soccer game? This happens to every one of us. But in the end, quality time is most important. You have to spend quality time. It's not the quantity of the time, it's the quality of the time. And just when you're with them or with your family, give just 100% to everything. And then give 100% to yourself, because that's also very important.
Yeah, I agree. It's a partnership within the family. It's very critical. But it's still time management, how you pick what you do, right? I like to cook. I like to cook for my daughter. So I got up in the morning every day. I cook her lunch, pack her lunch. So that's what I want to do. Of course, you always have to. Well, I also regret that I might not have enough time for my daughter. But I try to say, well, during the work days, maybe I have less time. Then during the weekend, I'll try to make the time for her.
Yeah, I think for different people, the balance line are different. Yes. And for me, I told my son that when he went to school the first day, I told him, the schoolwork is your job, not my job. So, but if you need me, I will be there. So I choose very important, maybe the important company for him and the important work in job. So I will make the choice. Yeah, the really important moment I should be there. The really important job I should take. So everyone finished their own responsibility and the job. Yes, so that's my choice. Mm.
And I think, just speaking from personal experience, that you get a sense of whether the company you're working for will respect that kind of value. And it's not always easy. Sometimes there's more work to do than you can fit into the day. But I would say that you get a sense of that, and to gravitate to those places that will support your, the things that are most important to you. Spending time with your kids and so forth. So, do we have any more questions? I think we're good. We're just about,
Hello. My question is, how do you deal with imposter syndrome, or if you do experience imposter syndrome, what are some of the ways that you do to combat that? Thank you.
That's a good question. The question about imposter syndrome, which I think we all have, male and female, from time to time, but possibly possibly it's more prevalent among females. Have you experienced that, any of you, or not really?
I'm a bit unclear about the
Oh, I'm
definition.
sorry. Where you feel like I'm not really I think we touched on this a little bit. Where you feel inside that, boy, I don't know if I'm up to this task. Like I'm faking it, or maybe people will realize that I'm not really as good at my job as they think I am. Maybe they're really these three women here are a success because they do not have they do not experience imposter syndrome. I think it's quite possible.
Yeah, I think maybe one thing is celebrate small wins, because sometimes when you are just so much in it, why am I here? What am I doing? Am I worth this effort? Celebrate small wins and give give yourself some leeway that yes, I can do this, and just look, I have accomplished something. It's not just I am in a situation where I am not sure if I am worth it, but when you do celebrate the small wins, then you see I have accomplished something, I am worth it, this is why I am here.
Yeah, celebrating the small wins is really important. Thank you. That's a good piece of advice.
Yeah, maybe I have the same experience. Yeah, when the company first asked me to take charge of this team, I asked my boss, why choose me? I said I'm not so confident about this responsibility, but he told me that the company trusts you while you don't trust yourself. So I told myself that don't be afraid of make mistakes, just make progress, and then you achieve that.
So don't worry about the mistakes, just make progress. That's excellent. Okay, thank you. Okay, well, I guess our time is about up. Thank you all very much, and thanks to our panelists, our amazing scientists and inventors. And I wanted to mention, I think we have something that we all four have in common, if I'm not wrong, and that is that we are introverts. Yeah? So introverts, they can thrive. That's the last piece of advice that we have. Thank you very much. Bye.